Good morning, everyone, from Dunrovin Ranch in Lolo, Montana. It's a beautiful, warm morning here at the ranch. And I'm delighted, as always, to welcome back my good friend, Brandon Carpenter, from his ranch, the Hashknife Ranch in Rygate, Montana. I know that today Brandon's going to be talking about something that occupies all people who take care of animals, and that is, what goes in has to come out. And looking at what comes out tells you a lot about not only what went in, but the process that created it. In other words, the health of the horse or the cow or the dog or whatever. And so today, Brandon's going to be taking us through the process of horse worming, and it's something that all good horse people do on a routine basis. So with that, James, will you play the recording?
Welcome to the Hashknife. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about worming, and worming our horses in particular, the ones up close in the corrals. And I'll probably be a little bit redundant about this, but what I've got is a kind of a generic paste. And this guy is something you can pick up in any of our stores, feed stores, kind of the Shiptons of the world, Murdoch's, you name it, Tractor Supply, where they've got, or online, they've got, always have wormers out for different times of the year. This one in particular does not have one for tapeworms. I'll do that in the spring, summertime, and I, like any other animal husbandry type caretaker, I'm watching their poop. That's what I do. And you can tell a lot about the health of an animal by in some very stressful times, watching the color of their urine. You may be having to modulate that back a little bit. Usually by the time you see that, it's starting to get a little bit late if it's super noticeable. So you want to keep on top of that all the time. I'm not going to get into it, just a broad spectrum. Talks about the dosage and as often as we do the ones up close, because the chances of guys, if you're up close, as long as treat accordingly, and with really want to worm after a hard freeze, and that kills any of the bot eggs that are on their legs. And we've talked about that a little bit prior, to make sure that those eggs that are laid on them are no longer viable or frozen. And even if they lick their legs and ingest it, nothing's going to happen. They're taken care of. But anything that's in the body is then taken care of with a good quality wormer. Some of the things it talks about, like anything does, in case you see problems, call a vet. One of the things that's on here is it says that it's okay for geldings mares of any age in pregnancy, and stallions may be treated without adversely affecting their fertility. You want to be very careful with this, and I've got a couple of these young stallions out here that we're going to be watching or dosing and of course keeping an eye on. But sterility in a breeding program isn't a breeding program very long, so you got to be careful. And some of these dosages are a fairly broad spectrum. There's a little wiggle room there, quite a lot of wiggle room in some. Others, not at all. And so if you overdose them based on their body weight, then you can cause some serious damage neurologically, and you'll see that fairly quickly within 24 to 48 hours. One of the things that's common in an overdose from wormer is a condition called wobbles, where they just can't, they shake and just are very unsteady, and that's a neurological condition. So there's some wormers that I don't even touch. I won't. But you got to rotate your wormers. It's very important to not use the same wormer every single time. Rotate those wormers to take care of any possible resistance in your worming program, because we got basically a closed herd for the most part. There are some animals that are not, but animals that are coming into our property for training, or if you're riding with someone else, you are not a closed herd anymore. So that can also cause a whole myriad of other issues that we can maybe talk about at another time. So this one is a anthelmintic and boticide. So it is specifically hits those bots in the late fall or late summer when they lay them, and so they'll hang on until the fall and then until after that first hard freeze. So this guy is nothing more than looks like just a little syringe, and then just simply push that, squirt it into their mouth based on the correct dosage that you can dial in right here. And we'll figure out some weights. And then dial these up so we don't waste a lot of time ahead of time. We've got 2 young stallions, and I guess their weights around 750 to 800, somewhere in there. And then the coming 3-year-old gelding, he's about 1,000 pounds. And then we've got Envy, the little filly that most of us have seen during the weaning portion of her little young life so far that she was so thrilled about. Her and the 1,000-pound she had very, very early, after about 6 weeks of age. She had a initial wormer. But I'm going to bring them in one at a time, separate them, bring them into this corral, and just be very easy about it, quiet. And it's not something that they're used to because of their ages. They haven't done it a lot. The gelding has done it the most, obviously, because of his age, but he's been out to pasture most of the time, so he hasn't had it a lot either. Only what I've done is I've pre-selected my weights so I don't have to monkey around with it too much, and I set this one for the one of the stallions, or the 2 stallions, at about 800 pounds, and that way I can just do it. I'm not causing any big problems, and we'll just get right on to one right after the other, kick them out, and shouldn't make such a big deal about it. These are used in such a manner that I'm going to maximize my dosages for 4 horses with just 3 syringes of our wormer paste. And I'll do that because it's economically smart to do it. I've got odd weights, and these aren't full-size horses, so I can combine a couple of these from one from the stall or the gelding, who's going to use all but 250 pounds of his wormer, and then I'll combine the other ones, and if I have to use them both, and just shy of full doses to get the filly, I can do that. Maximize the amount of wormer I'm going to be able to get down their throat, and minimize the number of money it costs to get them there. So this is not something that is, again, that they're used to, but this is why it's so important during the imprinting time that we play with the colts' mouths, stick our fingers in their mouths, get them used to this, to see if and to hopefully make this little task a whole lot easier, especially on this little filly. And I don't expect her to be really good at it because I haven't put my fingers in her mouth in a couple of months, but we'll see how it goes. All right, well, after evaluating this little fella, I think I'm going to put him down about 800 pounds. I'm not going to give him the full 850 that I think he was, or I thought he was earlier. I believe that's a little high. So I'll scale this back down a little bit. Here's our about 800. And then we're going to see if we can just sneak this up in behind his cheek. Let him chew on that a little bit and make it. He's not really thrilled about things. Like, what is that? That is weird. Because it's just kind of a real pasty type material. And then I find if you give them just a little bit of grain, they will kind of chew that, pick up that paste with that grain a little bit, and chew it on down. And you can tell they'll give some of this flaming behavior that's just kind of a weird sensation, weird taste. So that's all there is to that for him. All right, this guy is a little bit bigger, a little taller, and it doesn't take much variation in their size to really see a big difference. And he's starting to get, as you can tell, just a little bit more stutty and a little more pushy, or a little more lippy. So I have increased his dose up here just a little bit to about that 850 mark where I thought we'd ought to be. And that's what we're going to give him. So we'll see how he does. We're going to stick this in, give it a squeeze, and the same thing. It's like, hey, what is that? I have not had anything like that in my mouth that I can remember in recent history here. He just has forgot. Give him a little chance to have a little grain. Good boy. Yeah, he took that right down. You see how he's moving his tongue around, trying to get that stuff out of there. And it's a strange sensation for him, but I do think this grain at all. It makes one happy when they see it stay in their mouth and not out on the ground where it's gotten spit out, because that does happen. Hey, what's the matter, kid? Yeah, it doesn't make you happy, does it? All right. Well, let's go to victim number 3. Thicker, a little bit longer, and a little more substantially muscled than the other two. That is what we have to take into account. So I've got this up there. I guess him we're about 1,000 pounds. And so I'm just going to slip this just in the corner of his mouth, just like I did the others. Give it a squirt. And then let him chew on that while same thing, give him a chance to get this grain. And this grain is a nice little helper to keep that thing like they normally eat. So that's why you get quite that reaction like that. But if you can mix that paste with a bunch of grain, and he'll throw some around, but it's soaking up. Yeah. I don't see any paste on that at all. Mostly on his tongue, and if I can get that far enough back, then they tend to swallow it. So it's like, what in the world? You can do the same thing if you play with their nose a little bit, and sometimes you can get them to do that. There we go. All right, time to grab this little filly, and now we're going to have to combine 2 of these. So we're going to hit her twice instead of just once. And shouldn't be a big issue. We'll see how it goes. All right. Here we got our little filly. And she is not happy with me because she didn't think she needed to do anything today. So she's going to have to suck it up a little bit. I've got my 2 dosages here. From the smaller stallion, I was at hedge my bet a little bit, and then give her just a tiny bit more out of this. So I'll kind of put this up where I can get to it quick. Hey. Hey. All right, good girl. And that is that. For now, I'm just going to turn her loose and let her think about this a little bit. Maybe give her a little bit of grain if she wants, but she is kind of in a sour little mood here. She doesn't think she wants any of that too, so she's going to soul up a little bit. But anyway, that's what we've done. Got our worming done again for this quarter. And as long as they're up here tight, like I said, I want to make sure that we keep on top of any parasites, any problems there, and not have any weight loss issues, any kind of health issues with them. So with that, we hope you've enjoyed this and perhaps learned a little something. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Brandon, for making those recordings and teaching us about worming. It's a topic that not many people like to discuss, but it's a really important part of animal husbandry when you have animals in any kind of crowded conditions, even temporarily.
No, that's right, and that's when you really have to watch. There's more to it, like the part about sterility in your stallions or potentially cause sterility. You have got to pay attention. It isn't just you grab a wormer off the shelf and throw it down their throat and you're good to go for another a while. It's important to know what you're doing.
It is, and part of that is looking at their droppings to really understand what's going on, because you don't want to overdo it either. I mean, you can over apply those medications, so it's walking a fine line.
Yep, it is, and I never thought that I could put there's initials that one can put behind their name as they get education throughout the year, and I never thought PW or Poop Watcher would be one that I could stick behind my name, but it is. Yeah. It's what you do. It really is.
Yeah. And part of that depends on the way the horse is used. If you have a horse that's going to a lot of shows and a lot of rodeos and is being housed in a lot of different places with contact with a lot of animals that you don't know their medical past, then you have to be a lot more observant and a lot more kind of on top of your game than if you have horses that are out on your range for months at a time.
Yeah, that's right. And I've had people report to me about, using corrals that are community corrals, like in the Forest Service, and they're there. It's a wonderful gesture, and they're put there so that people don't tear up trees, basically, at the trailhead. But I will tie my trailer. I don't use those corrals because I know people that have used them, and their horses have gotten illnesses, and some nearly died. So you have to be very, very careful. Even if another horse is not there, they have been there. So not enough time has gone by where, some viruses or bacteria that are fairly resilient can be picked up by your horse, and then you can infect everybody. It's not something to take lightly.
Well, in fact, I'll tell you a little story about one of my favorite horses, Monty. I took Monty to a packing clinic held by Smoke Elser. You know Smoke.
Oh, I know Smoke, yeah.
Yeah, a wonderful man. And it was held at the 9 Mile Ranger Station with the Forest Service. And normally people don't take their own animals, but I asked if I could take Monty because I want to be sure that I learned how to, make him a good pack animal, not just me a good packer. Mm-hmm. I mean, we were being taught how to pack, but I also wanted to make sure that I addressed all of the issues with the horse. And I have to say there are two things about this. Monty's a tall horse, and it was really stupid of me to pick a tall horse as a pack horse.
The older you get, the more that lesson comes home.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I'm short anyway, and I'm thinking after I did this, I thought, my goodness, what am I doing? But at any rate, he ended up coming back with the neurological like lightning. And so I ended up with a 6-month quarantine on Monty. I had to keep him away from the rest of the herd for 6 months and take tender, loving care for him. There really isn't much you can do. There's not a medication. You just hope that they get through it. And he did without any neurological damage. But it was touch and go. But that's exactly the kind of thing that I think that's a waterborne disease, and he got it probably from drinking in the trough there at the 9 Mile. So I've gotten extremely cautious. If I go someplace else, I'll take bleach with me, and I'll bleach down any of the surfaces, metal surfaces. I won't let my horses drink out of water troughs. I bring my own buckets.
Yes.
I mean, you're exactly right. You take a horse to a set of corrals where you don't know who's been in them. You're asking for trouble.
Well, and the first thing you'll notice a horse does if they're in a strange place and they see a pile of poop, they will right to it and they stick their nose on it to see who this was. I mean, that's just how they track each other. That's just normal. So when they do that, you can breathe in anything. So yeah, it's you got to help them not help themselves to a catastrophe.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people don't understand the complexity of all this, or really how sensitive these animals are to disease and how easily, spreadable it is.
Yes,
a lot of
that's
things
right.
are waterborne or airborne or in the manure, like you say. So.
Yep. No, that's exactly right. This is something that's ongoing, so we're used to it. We do it all the time. Well, in fact, as yesterday, then we went through and give a subsequent dose of a different wormer, an inexpensive wormer that has some lice, biting and sucking lice control on our cows. So that was what we did yesterday, and then I did some filming for an upcoming segment for you guys as well. So it took Lisa and my son Braden and I took out a couple hours and ran through 100 and some head of cattle, and you know what? It's what you do. I mean, you just schedule, and we're coming up on calving season here we should be dropping calves in another 6 weeks. So hopefully we'll beat some of this horrible warm weather we've had that have been great for calving. We'll have some terrible storms and cold and
darn well the storm's just waiting for calving season.
Oh, it is. The only way you could equate this to somebody who's not around cattle is if you washed your car, what's going to happen? It's going to rain, so it's the same way you start calving, you're going to get bad weather.
Yeah. Well, it's a delight, as always, Brandon, to have us come to your ranch and to know what's going on and to have these conversations. And I believe that Ashley's out there with our little guy, Oggy, right now. Are you there, Ashley? James, is Ashley on?
Yeah, she's on. She's just getting unmuted here.
Okay. Are you ready to work with Brandon, Ashley?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
There we go.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Brandon, I'll see you next week with another segment, and I really appreciate your working with Ashley. By the way, I think she's doing a marvelous job.
She's doing
you're
great.
A great instructor, but she's a great student.
That's the other half of that that's probably more important, actually. It's actually making it happen again in the house.
Trying to get some technologies.
Yeah, you guys are.
I just had my breakfast and I came outside.
We don't want anybody hangry. I know I get that way.
No. I'm trying to get some technology set up here because I'm trying to take a video of Oggy trotting to send to the vet.
Oh.
So I've got him in one hand, I've got my camera behind me, and then I've got my phone on my bendy tripod here trying to do all of this.
Now you know the struggle I have every week with you guys. Sometimes I get my fingers in the lens. It's tough. It's tougher than you think.
Exactly. So Oggy seems to be doing well today. Over the weekend, each day he got a dose of Butte to help with some soreness from the injection that he got, but he's been walking around. Seems like he's doing just fine. His leg isn't like swollen or anything, so looks like he's doing good. Good. As long as he's and again, you're walking that line between, not enough work and he gets some swelling to too much work because you're trying to reduce the swelling. Yeah, so each day we all took turns hand walking him. I walked him up and down our driveway. I think Ryan and Chelsea, the other ranch hands, walked him around the barn area and stuff. So he got lots of walks this weekend.
Good.
And then today we're going to get some round pen work. So I do want to make him trot just so I can get that video for the vet. But I'll let him work up to that. I walked him in a couple laps just to get his leg kind of warmed up first. So trying everything we can to reduce injury.
Yes.
So let me just get this going. Okay. Timber. I've got the tarp hanging on the door, so he's just like, no.
Yep.
He did this when I was getting him out of the corral too. He's like, no, I don't want to go to school today.
Yeah, that's just more resistance. Him trying to tell you what he thinks you need to do. So, if I can suggest, do just what you're doing. Take the there you go. Lead in your left hand, and then put there. Good.
I think I'll just start off by walking and trotting him. Well, walking first, just get him warmed up.
Yep. No, that's great.
Good boy. Good boy.
It doesn't look bad, does it?
No. Yeah, he's not bopping his head all weird.
Yeah, no, he's picking himself up and he's putting his weight on, so that's a good thing. He's not trying to favor that foot from what I can see.
I'm trying to stay out of the way of my camera so he gets a good shot of him trotting.
That's changed. That's why he's kind of stopping at times. I'm thinking, why are you doing? Yeah, I forget about that camera over there.
Whoa. Good boy. Good stop.
That is going to be so important when we start driving him, as well as riding, and we'll get to more of that later. But we're prepping him to accept a saddle, and we're going to start because you don't have a harness for him. You got a harness for the little ones, the minis, into this, which is not going to be a big deal. And actually, a pack saddle is much stronger than a harness, but minus having a collar on it. And there are different types of setups for that. But we're going to start working him so he'll learn to respond to some of the weight, some of the restriction of having some shafts on his hind end. So it'll be a good thing. We'll do just dandy on this.
Good. Yeah, I heard you guys talk about that, and in the coming weeks. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time with that.
Ooh. Good boy.
Nice. Good. Very good. Now, as we were jawing, I was paying attention more to his feet than anything. Were you able to turn him away from you when you're standing on his offside?
No, he's doing his turn toward me.
Okay.
Well, let me see if I can get him to do that. Because I've noticed he has been about doing the turn.
Good.
But not away from me. He'll only turn towards me now.
Okay. Well, we need to fix that. We need to make him do. Yeah. Need to have him following what you want.
Easy. Good boy. It's not moving anywhere. It's been there the whole time. He's wanting to turn towards me.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta make sure he does what you want to do, not what he wants to do. There we go. Good job.
Boy.
Good job.
Easy. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, don't you throw your little butt at me.
Yeah, he's throwing a little temper tantrum there. So if he does that again, he's feeling well enough to say no to you, to kick his butt up a little bit, then he's feeling well enough to get disciplined for doing just exactly that. Good turn. And whenever you've got enough for your film, that's good. I don't need anything more. I think he's probably warmed up well enough for what we want to do.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh, good stop. I love that stop and a nice back up. That's perfect. Nice job.
Good boy. Good job.
Very good.
Should I throw his halter back on him?
Yeah. Let's throw his halter on, and then we'll get started with just grabbing that tarp and just see just how much you can get away with, how fast and how large the movements can be and how noisy they can be, and see how he takes that. He should be really good. You did a good job with him last week. He was getting better and better all the time until we quit. So we'll do this and then get him ready for. I think what we're going to do is we're going to jump forward a little bit next time too, because we want to have him. We want to start the bidding process, and of course this is all leading up to putting a saddle on him. But as long as he's really good with this tarp this time. We really want to just keep going, and that means we'll sack him with a saddle if we're able to, and we won't necessarily do that this time unless he does exceptionally well, and you can scoot over there and grab a saddle you want to throw on him, something light so that you're not having to work so hard. Saddle doesn't mean anything to him other than it's going to go.
Yeah,
on
we've got a couple of like half leather, half synthetic ones that are super light.
Yeah, those are super light, like those, Cordura and that kind of material is really nice for that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've just got it kind of quarter folded, but I'm going to leave it like that. Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Good deal. Yep, looking good. He just wants to fidget a little bit because he thinks he can. Yes. Oh yeah.
I went over my
like
head
that.
too. You're not the only one.
Yeah, you're suffering with him, aren't you?
Yeah. We're in this together. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Very good. I like how he's not trying to walk past you. He wants to fidget from it, but you notice he's staying with his front feet where you're at, and then just trying to, if he's trying to go away at all, he's just trying to pivot on his fronts and move his hind end around, and that's good. I mean, psychologically, he's like, I need to stand in place, but I just can't help my little self. I got to move. So that's headway. That's really good.
He's starting to paw with his front leg.
Yep, a little impatient. So I would, if he's that impatient, then throw that thing down on the ground on his other side and drag it up underneath of him and put him through the paces that way. I think we might be able to quickly go and grab a light saddle and start sacking him with a saddle.
Good boy.
Very good. Very good. He moved a little bit more than I'd like, but that's all right. He did okay. Good job.
Well, it's better than the first time when I got stuck underneath him and stepped on me.
Yes. And that's something, and that's a really good thing you're doing is getting him to come to it. And we'll do the same thing with the saddle. You know, horses are just like what you're experiencing there. If they don't like something, they're going to back away from it. And if you can have them walk towards something they don't know, in their mind, it's like that's not something was congruent with how they actually think. That they move away instead of towards something that's new to them. So this is a good thing.
Yeah, their flight response kicks in first, and like, no, I'm not going to walk towards the scary thing.
Exactly. Yes.
Not what my nature wants me to do.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And then they learn to trust you. There we go.
He's just going to skirt around it, but at least he's walking. All you got to do is walk around it. Good boy.
A little better.
Good boy.
A lot more relaxed that time.
Just toes. Gotta do more. Good.
There we go. Good.
Good boy.
Better. Good.
Step.
So if you need to, instead of dragging him, there you go. Put your left hand on the connection there with the bridle or the halter on the rope, and then with your right hand, there you go, and then push him forward. Walk beside him, but push him forward with your lead on your hand there, your left hand, and then just kind of do like you did when you were coming through the gate. Just flip that rope up over his back and up on towards his hip, and make him move forward. There you go. He's got to, and stay beside him. Don't get in front of him, but stay beside him and watch his feet so he doesn't run over the top of you. And that way you can direct him a little bit more. There you go. So,
And I was just dancing with me around it.
yeah, so just take that rope and smack him on the butt. He is telling you no, and that is unacceptable.
Boy.
There we go. Yeah.
He's just going to walk towards me every single time.
Yeah, because you like the mine. I'll not lie there. I got about a 6-foot wingspan, so makes it a little easier for me.
Good boy.
There we go.
Good boy.
Good job. Now go to his offside. Go to his offside and do the same thing, because we got to do that on the other side as well. And if he walks over by leading on from kind of that side, that's fine. That's great. Very good. You're controlling his head. That's really good. Footing slip. There we go. Good. Very good. Good. Much better.
Boy.
Okay, that was much more deliberate on his part. So let's go ahead and get rid of that tarp. And can you scoot over and grab a saddle reasonably quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just throw that rope over his back and let him be at one. Or there you go. Just let him be at one with the tarp, and then we can.
One with the tarp.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what he does with it. My suspicion is he's just going to go over there and stand.
He's gonna stand up with it.
See if we can throw that saddle up on his back a number of times, and get him kind of used to that. And the whole idea here is this has all been good prep work, and Ashley's done a great job of, sticking with him and making him do what he is supposed to do, not what he wants to do. And that's the whole point of us being able to control him a week ago. So I'll leave that. She's going to leave, so he thinks it's time for him to go.
Are you just leaving me?
Hey, you forgot. We're going to introduce it to him. Ashley, like with that, a psychological advantage for us to be able to make him come. Something he's in the middle of that dry spot where the end of the tarp is, and just leave the saddle alone. Go ahead and take your tarp out of there and let him see if he'll go to that saddle since it's new. New and different, and smell that on his own. Yeah. Always are. That's what we love about them, is that they're curious. Handed saddle and a left-handed holder on that saddle. I think you're right-handed, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that tells you how light that saddle is. This is really good. Yeah. Pull that cinch up. Now just get that tarp out of there as well, and give him a minute. See what he does.
I brought you a thing.
A little bit. Instead of being over there by the time clock where the door is.
Oh boy. I've been practicing just moving him away from me in the field, and we're getting a lot better with just gentle touches.
Good. That's where we want to be is there you go. See if he'll move towards it. And just to have him move from the subtle request that you. Okay. He's going to soul up a little bit, so we can always grab that halter, lead, put it on him, and pull him over to it, let him smell it. Well, you must be getting warm. And that's just a little bit of a test.
Yeah.
There we go. Now he's going to sniff it.
Good boy.
I know there's one in there. You can smell them.
Nice.
That thing over really good and taking the time to do this is not a bad thing.
I'm sure it probably helps that it does smell like other horses. Can they just like, oh, this is something
It absolutely does
for
Yep.
me.
Yep, and that's why I like to take a really soft Navajo blanket that's easy to move, and have had that on a horse, and then you rub that down with them so they can smell another horse, and I think it does make a big difference for them because it's not a foreign smell by any means.
You're starting to lift the sheepskin on it.
Yeah, I'd go ahead and pull it up then and just set it up on his back. And you may need to pull a stirrup over the back, on the one side or the other, whichever one's going to want to flop over. Just easy to just kind of walk back and then just set it up on his back. Just like that. There you go. And then don't let him move too much. Make him stand there. And now all you're going to do is sack him out with that. Now just go ahead and just kind of shake it back and forth, move it. And I like to just do that so I can pull it up on his neck a little bit by grabbing the horn. I go ahead and let that, if you can now. Did you have the stirrup over the top of the saddle horn?
Yeah.
Let it drop. Then see what he does. He should be able to take that because he's had stuff flopping around him. There you go. Good. Excellent. Now take the saddle horn, and you can really work that saddle forward, backwards, all the while shaking it. Yes. Pick it up on his neck, a little more in front of his withers.
Ooh.
Don't let him move. Yeah, there we go. All the way back. Yes, good. Very good. This is where all that tarp work paid off.
I see. Ooh.
Yeah, and as much as you can possibly do, don't let him come forward. Don't let him move on you. He needs to stand because we want him to stand. Whenever we mess with the saddle, we want them standing until we are done messing with it, not having it put on. Good. Now just work it back and slide it right over his hind end and just pull it off. Good job. I'm glad you're talking to him. Just shake it and bring it right on back. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Now just throw it up there again with a shake. Oh, nice. Very, very good. His head didn't even pick up. Very good. Now walk to your other side and do the same thing. And I've got kind of once they get well acclimated to sacking them out with us, I want them to see that, hey, this thing can hit the ground beside you, can fall off you, and you're fine.
Ooh. Ooh. Good boy.
Good catch. Good catch and good stop.
I'll do that one day. Ooh. Can't go anywhere.
Yeah, initially that's not bad. We need to have the discipline that he'll do that wherever you're at. So, but no, that's not bad to cheat a little bit.
On him.
Yeah, looks good. Good. Now just grab it and let it kind of fall to the ground. Don't let it. I mean, just grab the horn and pull it towards you, and just let it fall kind of down to there we go. Yeah. Look at that. Now from the first time. I may have. He lost interest, so go ahead and throw it back up on him. Shake it some more. I'm really liking his reaction. Actually, a little bit, but it shows in this initial saddle work.
Good boy.
Good job. Good job not letting him move enough purpose this first time because he's doing so well. Let's go ahead. We've already prepped him once or twice. We didn't today, but he was so good about having that rope under his girth and the pressure on it. Let's go ahead and put the cinch on him, and then just tighten it up a little bit, and then we will undo his lead rope once you've got that securely on there. And of course, there's no blood making it set on his back, and then we'll turn him loose for a little bit with a reasonably loose cinch, something that's not going to really tighten down so that he doesn't get panicked that he can't breathe. But we'll just tighten it up enough to hold the saddle, and then we'll let him walk around a little bit in a circle, kind of work him around the rail, and just keep working that up a little bit. I don't see him even humping up or even resisting that at all. Doesn't give him any cause for concern. His eye looks really good.
Ooh. Yeah, it's like every time I take a step, he wants to kind of follow me with it. So I'm trying to leave a loose lead.
Yeah,
so that's on his head.
Right. Nope, that's a good thing, because you want him standing with a loose lead and just taking this. So.
But anytime he does move his foot and I say "whoa," he just stops. So.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. We want him responding to that voice, and you're building that into him. That's a really, really good. It takes no effort for you to say no, or whoa, I should say. He hears the same thing basically.
Okay, so I've got it just on the second hole. Super loose.
Tighten it up and watching his ears. He's listening to you, but there's no issue there with that. So if you've got it on there, then go ahead and just walk him around in hand first, because it's going to feel weird to him, and stay off to the side to him to make sure that he doesn't spook and get concerned that thing is following him around and he can't do anything about it.
You're starting to look like a horse.
All right, make him do a couple of tight turns in a figure eight, because it's gonna put a little bit of stress on the saddle, on the girth, and you'll feel those bars on his back, the bars of the saddle. So turn him a little tight again, and then see how he does. And if you're comfortable with this, let's go ahead and turn him loose, and then just work him around in a couple of circles, just free driving him a little bit. Yeah, I don't see any issue there at all.
Yeah.
He's doing good. Really good. Okay.
Boy.
And then at some point, and you can do this later in the week too, if you're going to work him again, tie that tarp up in the saddle and let it hang off of both sides of him, and do this with him. Walk him around first to make sure that he's going to be okay with it, and then let him train himself. Let him stack himself with his movement and then that tarp over the back, because we're going to have some big, scary things behind him later on, too.
Good boy.
Good. Very good. Good job. Good job sticking with him and making him turn. Yeah, and I don't see any indication he's even concerned the little tiniest bit And do I hear him kicking a strip against a rail once in a while?
Yeah, he's just like banging against the rail a bit.
Yeah, and he's done not, and he has not reacted to it. So it's that sometimes they'll spook from that, but that's not bothering him. Perfect. I'd go ahead now. You've gone around a couple of times. I'd stop him, walk up, and then just tighten that cinch up another notch, just a little bit, because he's not used to. He's gonna learn that he, puff his belly up and take a deep breath, and you'll cinch it up tight, and then he can let his breath out and gives himself a little relief. They all learn that quick, so we can over tighten him pretty darned easily because he hasn't learned that yet. They're smart. It's all about self-preservation of their comfort. He still is absolutely accepting of
everything. Even pulling on it, he's just like, yeah, whatever.
Good. That's very good. And it feels different when they move, but that's good. This is what we're after. Yes, I like that look. Okay, picked his head up a little. Feels it's getting a little tighter, but I don't anticipate any huge issues here. Not by his demeanor so far. Sometimes they'll want to stop when you tighten it up a little bit. They don't want to move, and then sometimes they'll move and want to stop again, and then other times then they'll go, oh man, this thing is tight, and they'll try to outrun it. And if that happens, just let him go. Just let him run. He's not going anywhere, and he's certainly not terrorized. There we go.
Good boy.
Very good. I'm really liking what I'm seeing here.
Good boy.
Very good. Good. How tight is that saddle? Is it just looser than what you would get on him, but still pretty snug?
I can fit my hand in between it pretty easily.
Okay, so it's still relatively loose. That's good. Because we will have to get to the point at some point where we need to tighten it up where you could step up on him. And so we'll as long as he's doing great, we'll just work towards that point. You can do it later now, or you can wait till the next time. It doesn't matter. He's really doing really super well with this. So I'm liking what we're going on here.
He's got his head down. He's licking his lips. He's chewing.
Yeah, good. Very good.
Yeah, since I've been adding salt to the ground pen the last couple weeks, the sand is nice and soft now, even though the rest of the ground's frozen.
Oh, outstanding.
Yeah. Good boy. He's got such a nice trot. Good boy.
Good. Very good. It's much, much better. I like that. And then, work him a little bit, and then I would stop him and then tighten his cinch again.
Good boy.
Excellent job on this so far. Really pleased with him. You're doing a good job keeping
that was like another inch or so.
Almost. Would you almost feel like you could step on him?
Probably not.
Okay. Let's go ahead and pick it up one more then. There we go. See a little reaction there. It's like, hey, this isn't right, but that's all right. Now that's just probably your biggest, boldest move yet. So let's see how he does.
Good boy. He's kind of picking up on his own.
Yeah. And he may scare himself, and if he does, that's okay. We'll just diminish it and let him work through it. We certainly don't want to cause him to buck. That, if he humps up a little bit, that's okay.
There we go.
Yeah, yep, that turning like that sharp. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, we'll just let him get used to it. So we know we're not going to push him any further than this with the tightness of that, but now we know where we can go with it. So keep a mental note about where you're at with that cinch.
Ooh. Good boy.
Good job. And then, of course, if we put a saddle pad on him under this, after we've sacked him again, or even next time you may be able to do that, then we're going to, put a little bit of a shim underneath of his back, essentially, and it'll be a little tighter where it's at. But you know what? He's doing okay. We'll work up to that point.
Yeah.
Very good. I like we're right on the edge of him being. He's uncomfortable. He's not sure what's going on here and why this is, but it's just the same thing, only different. And that's kind of where we're doing when you progress like that. That's exactly what you want to do. Push their envelope a little bit without having them blow up. That's good.
Good boy.
Look
First time. Turn around. Yay.
Looks like you stuck the landing.
Yeah. 10 points.
All right. I think with that, we should probably go ahead and get the lead in, put him in hand again, and just walk him around in a tight figure eight, feel how he does. And if he's good that way, then let's go ahead and unhook the cinch and then just shake it, kind of sack it and slide it off over his, on each side and then down over his butt. And I think we'll call it a day. We've thrown a lot of stuff at him, and he's done actually pretty darn well.
He's done such a good job. What a good little puppy.
And then we'll work on, I think the other thing we're going to start working on is bidding him up.
Yeah.
And that is going to be something. Do you have a head stall and a bit that will fit him that have no reins on it? Or can you take the reins off?
We do. Suzanne will be able to help me find something.
Okay, yeah, grab something, because we're not gonna put anything in his mouth or any pressure in his mouth. He's just gonna have to learn to hold that bit in his mouth, and we'll start with that next time too, because we can do a couple of things. We can work him with this saddle and get to the point where we're at, like right now. He's doing really well. And then when he's done with this lesson, when we're at this point next time, we'll put that bit in his mouth, and then I'm going to show you a little secret that we're going to use to get him to, one, accept that bit, and two, we want him to make sure that tongue stays under that bit. We don't want that tongue going up over the top. So,
right.
And something we've shared. This isn't a big secret, but it's, and we wouldn't make it that way because it's something that really needs to be done. You got to have this horse accept that bit. Very good.
Like, wait, I don't know how to back up with this thing on. Oh,
yeah.
Good boy.
That direction didn't come with instructions with a saddle, did it? He's very
and then
calm.
You wanted me to just...
Yeah, just go ahead.
Like, he's super calm today.
Yep, this is really good work. He's smart enough that he can get bored pretty easy and get sour, and I think we see a little bit of that. But in spite of that, we have to correct that, and we run into that little problem. We got a spoiled, petulant child, because that's what he came to you as. With his handling, we've talked about that before, and so that cannot continue with, no matter whatever you're doing. That has to stop. And so, we even though he's bored, that's tough. He needs to take that boredom and deal with it. Yeah,
no screen time.
Absolutely. And so, but you'll notice doing this is a lot to put on him and do, but it's a big progression, and he's done very, very well. And I think part of that is he's an intelligent guy. And I really didn't anticipate a big problem with him. Yeah, look at that. Very good, very good. Very good. Throw that up over his back again once on each side, and let's call it a day. Just let that. Very good.
Yeah, start getting caught. Normal.
Yep. All that normal stuff. That is exactly what you train for, is normalcy.
Oh.
That first time or two you introduce him to it, that's one thing. You need to control it, but eventually, yeah, everything's going to be thrown over the top of him. He's going to take it like that.
Good boy.
Good job.
Yes,
yeah, there you go. Good. Let him smell. I think a lot of people, when they train, I think they underutilize allowing them to smell and to really even put their lips on stuff to say, yeah, well, this is okay. They let them see it all right, but that sense of smell is sometimes way overlooked, and horses use that, as right behind their eyesight and their ear, their audio. They use that a lot.
Yeah, because they're like dogs. They don't have hands to tactilely touch the world and interact with it. They use their nose and they use their lips to get the scent and the smell and the feel of it.
That's right.
So it's not like he's going to eat the saddle, but he's just using his lips just as feelers, just to see what it is, what the material's made out of.
Precisely right.
He can check out the metal on the thing. He can check out the leather. He can check out the sheepskin.
The temperature
and he knows what
of
all those different textures are. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, throw that up on his back again and drag it off the other side, and I think you're probably done. I always saddle from either side. Everything I do, you can do on our horses from that notion that you can only
I can't get it up as high with my left hand.
That notion that you can't get on this horse from the offside is okay.
Well, why not?
And I think you're good.
If you're in an emergency and you can only get on and off one side, then that better be the side that you can get on and off of.
That's exactly the point. Absolutely right. And you know what? Sometimes you can't control which way you're pointed on that mountain and whether you're on the downside or the upside. And he's doing better. You're working on him, and keep up the good work. Especially, I'd work more of those turns towards you and away from you equally, so that he gets, if you're going to do that, and then have a bit ready. And if you got one of those with a headstall with no reins, let's grab that and have that ready for next time. And we might put that into your coat, put it under your armpits, keep that bit nice and warm for it. Yeah, and that'll be a really important part of doing that, is some foreshadowing for next time, is that bit, having that bit warm. A lot of times I'll bring a bit in the late fall, the winter time, and I leave it in the house, and then I wrap my hand around it going outside, and it's warm when it goes in their mouth. There's nothing worse than throwing a cold bit in a horse's mouth that's been hanging on a wall out in a barn with no heat. Yeah, you want that comfortable going in their mouth. So good job, Ashley. We'll I guess we'll keep going, and we'll see you next week.
Great. Thank you so much for your time, Brandon.
Absolutely. Have a great rest of your day, and do good work.
You too. We'll see you later.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.